Well, hello there, beautiful people. Today is January 26, 2026, and it's office hours, which means we have to continue our checking out of Scam School, the only show dedicated to social media. Yep, you know what? Let's go with that. Here it is, the first episode that made you money.
What's up, guys? If magic had a dark, evil, goatee-wearing twin nemesis, it would be Scam School, the only show dedicated to social engineering at the bar and on the street. I'm Brian Brushwood, and today we're going to learn the first trick that'll actually start getting you drunk at the bar for free. Now remember, we learned how to do a match trick that'll grab people's attention. This is when you take that momentum and turn it into free drinks. It's one of the simplest, most clever tricks I've ever run across, and all it involves is 4 quarters.
Okay, first of all, I do not think that I oversold the bit on this one. I think that 100%, I would say out of all the Scam School episodes, this was the one that right out of the gates, it was the biggest pain to glory ratio. It is unbelievably simple to set up. It is unbelievably easy to execute. And most importantly, this is the beginning of when I was able to kind of understand that a good bar scam doesn't just win on a technicality. It is deeply satisfying. And when you get the answer to this, you actually think to yourself, man, I am better for having been fooled. You cannot, you're so thankful that you want to buy a free beer. A couple of little production notes. This early thing, this was one of the first times that I thought in terms of speaking to multiple modalities, because I realized that my words were glamorous. I was talking about it being the only show dedicated to social engineering at the bar and on the street, but I needed to convey this is the very beginning of starting each episode with a funny metaphor. And so I just had the idea of Michael Knight with a mustache as Garth Knight because you know, that universally approachable Knight Rider aesthetic.
What's up, guys? If magic had a dark, evil, goatee-wearing twin...
Yeah, there we go. So it wasn't just the goatee-wearing twin nemesis. And I guess it wasn't even... I was probably also thinking of, what are some other comps? Was it Commander Riker that had like an evil twin that wore a goatee? Definitely Garth Michael Knight. And then I guess evil Spock, right? Didn't Spock have a twin at some point? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, yeah, Adam points out it was Spock. Yeah. But at any rate, this is also the beginning of me understanding that you could drive down a point at the same time by speaking in multiple modalities, not only just with the metaphor of my words at the beginning, but also this is a cheap kind of nostalgia pop that makes you go like, oh yeah, no, I know that.
Nemesis, it would be Scam School.
And this is also the beginning of me making it very clear that we are not a magic show, but you're going to learn a lot of magic, but not a magic show. You don't have to be a magician. Dear God, don't loop me in with all those magicians. There we go. That's also the House of Shields signage that appears at the end of the game.
Only show dedicated to social engineering at the bar and on
also,
the street. I'm Brian.
How about those untamed microphones back in the day, like that street noise that comes through? We are so spoiled nowadays with how good the microphones are, as long as they're close to your mouth.
Brushwood, and today we're going to learn the first trick that'll actually start getting you drunk at the bar for free. Now remember, we learned how to do a match trick that'll grab people's attention. This is when you take that momentum and turn it into free drinks. It's one of the simplest, most clever tricks I've ever run across, and all it involves is 4 quarters. Check it out. I'll explain how it works. This is the first trick I'm going to show you guys.
So that is also, think about this. This is an artifact of Scam School trying to be a TV show, because that connective tissue, that slow motion sense of time, moving time and space, of setting the scene, all of that B-roll I don't know how fast that would be in a YouTube era right here.
Where it absolutely will get you a free tasty beverage. Here's the game. Got 4 quarters, right? 4 quarters, and here's the game. You want to start like this in a diamond, and you want to end up in a line, all 4 in a row. But here are the rules. You can only move 1 quarter at a time with your finger. You can't pick it up. You can't push them. You can only move 1 at a time. And when you let go of the quarter, it needs to be touching at least 2 other quarters. So like that's a legitimate move, and this would be a legitimate move, but this would be an illegal move. Does that make sense? So with those rules in mind, you want to start like that and end like that. If you can figure it out, I'll buy you a beer.
All right, that is, I believe, less than a minute long for the complete setup and to own the challenge. Remember, the rules are dead simple. And this is also before I knew to cancel out the methods that people would come up with immediately. Like you can't push them, you can't pick them up and move into the 3rd dimension and all of that stuff.
Here we go. Start working on it.
And then this is also one of the first times that I understood that because we're doing a TV show, it's not enough to have people talk it off. And let me just couch what I'm saying here. I have evolved as a human being and as somebody who understands that how you feel in the moment is not necessarily how you have to end up being portrayed as feeling when the edit comes together. This is before I learned to trust the edit. So in these very early episodes, you may see me reacting as though I'm just really worried about whether or not it's going to work. Because guess what? I don't know if it's going to work. And I know that they flew me out to San Francisco and that we're maybe reinventing online television history. We'll see.
One at a time.
You can move 1 at a time.
So look at this. This is the first time I encountered 20 seconds of dead air, because this is what everybody wants to do, is just sit and think. By the way, all of you guys at home, you should be sitting and thinking of what the solution is. To remind you, those rules again are...
You can only move 1 quarter at a time with your finger. You can't pick it up. You can't push them. You can only move 1 at a time. And when you let go of the quarter, it needs to be touching at least 2 other quarters. So like that's a legitimate move, and this would be a legitimate move, but this would be an illegal move. Does that make sense? So with those rules in mind, you want to start like that and end like that. If you can figure it out, I'll buy you a beer. Here we go. Start working on it.
All right, 1 1,000, 2 1,000.
You can move 1 at a time. And you can't use 1 to put...
Oh my gosh, you know what I just realized? I have the original notes for these cuts that I gave back in the day. I wonder if I can find them. Here, you guys watch the puzzle. I'll see if I can find it.
Push the other ones, obviously.
Everything has to stay.
Yeah, see, you can't. That's right. Yeah, today is not opposite day. And I'll tell you, you can use it.
What an asshole! This is also a calibrated. This is also the beginning of a rather curated character. Oh my God. Yep. I was trying to make a name for myself in a particular scene.
As many moves as you want. You can use as many moves as you want. I can do it in 4 moves. So yeah, that's a totally fair move. It doesn't get you anywhere, but that's a totally legit move. There we go. That's a legit move. Now you got 3 in a row. And you're right back where you started.
So let's get back to where we have 3 in a row.
Yep, so that's legit. Okay. 3 in a row.
And then my last move can't be that, right?
Yeah, because you got to be touching 2 other coins when you let go. When you give up, just let me know.
Can they be separated? So can I do something like that? Not that it would end up meaning
That's a
anything.
legit move.
Okay.
That's a legit one.
It says, and you could do something like
And then
back
you're
to square one.
back to square one.
All right.
So this is fascinating. So trying to be a TV show, that 1 minute of just sort of a static shot on there, I don't know that we would get to do that today. In a YouTube world, you better believe we'd be punching in close-ups. Because essentially, this is back when you could afford to make content, assuming that only the characters on screen were the characters on the show. But really, with YouTube in this era, the main character is always the viewer at home.
Let's hear it.
You give up?
Yeah.
Let me hear you say it.
I give up.
Louder. Sweet, delicious.
I gave up.
All right, now here's the thing. Normally at this point, people get really annoyed and they want to know how it's done. So you make it very clear. You're like, oh, I'd be happy to tell you. I'm so thirsty. And before you know it, boom, a beer's right there in front of you. And here's what you do. 4 moves. You ready? 1, 2. So you were on the right track. 3,
Oh, really?
4.
There, you even hear her say, "Oh, brilliant!" And that is the true thing. Where what could be a harvest moment turns into a gift. That's where you want to be.
There you go.
Well done.
Yeah, you guys have been fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Heidi. You guys are great.
Oh, this is back before Brian knew that you could just shout the word toast and make everyone lift their glass. Now, this is interesting. So this was also the beginning of me learning that there are multiple performances that you give at the same time. If you've ever watched America's Got Talent or Penn and Teller Fool Us or any of that stuff, it is very, very clear that all of the performers very much know that they're making the big showcase performance. They put all their effort into that one, but it very also is a surprise to them that in terms of real estate, in terms of viewer minutes, there's a whole second showcase they have to do, and most people haven't prepared for it at all, including me. This is all just, hey, we should do a review segment. Yeah, go ahead and talk about it. I think maybe I had a note card or two for the intros, but I don't think I had anything for the closing thoughts.
Now remember, when you're doing this trick, do not underestimate the power of holding the answer when somebody else has the question. This is the first trick, as I said earlier, that's going to translate that momentum of you doing performances into getting you free drinks. Once you set
Why is there a chainsaw in the background?
up the question, let them work it out. Take as long as they want and wait till they give up. Once they've given up, they will do anything, and I mean anything, to get the answer to this riddle. Remember, this is the moment that you set up a precedent for pay for play. Nobody gets to go forward until they give you a free drink. Once you have this going, you're going to be plowed for the rest of the night.
You're going to be plowed for the rest of the night. Also, worth noting, it's fascinating being a little bit older and having revisited Teller's letter to me when I was 19 years old. This is all straight out of that playbook that Teller gave me. He said, withhold information, hold back important plot key points, and allow me to believe that 2 + 2 = 5, then reveal the truth 4 and blow me away.
Any questions about this or any of the other scams, or if you have your own that you'd like to share with us, go ahead and write me at brian@revision3.com.
All right, this is also, look, I'm a team player. Jim Louderback, CEO of Revision 3. But even then, I understood that I'm like, Revision 3, I'm giving you, I think the bulk of everybody doing everything at Revision 3 was because they were of the tech world where the rules are always changing, and a news report in 1997 was not very useful in 2003. I was aware that Magic moved very, very slowly. So every single one of these I knew was going to be just as valuable up to 20 years later. He says nearly 20 years later. And so I wanted to put brian@schwood.com on there, but he said Brian@Revision 3. So don't
Use your
email that
submission on
anymore.
the air. I'll send you a copy of my book, Cheats, Cons, Swindles, and Tricks, 57 Ways to Scam a Free Drink. I'm Brian Brushwood. You guys take care.
See, now that's kind of weird for me to remind of who I am. But again, we shot 4 pilot episodes in one night, and we didn't know what order they were going to come out or how, but yeah, 2008. All right, let's kick this party off correctly. We are doing office hours, which means it's got to be... Oh, I have some more tidbits on this that we're going to play here in a bit. But first, there we go. Boom. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's go time. It's go time. We can't just be watching all old nonsense stuff. We got to take on the entire planet. That's why every morning I've been going live with office hours. And yeah, we're going to kick it off with a bit of candy because I know half of you guys watching this aren't watching the entire thing live, but you know who is? I'll tell you who is. Dylan Theus, 9542. Oh yeah, it's Adam is here. This guy, he's here. BioCal is flashing our gang sign. This, my friends, is the Diamond Club symbol. Why? Because anybody wild and crazy enough to bake me into their daily routine is about as hard as it comes, and nothing comes harder than diamonds. Whoops. Diamond Clubbers get to flash this sign in public to me. It is a secret cheat code because the only way for you to know that 2-piece signs kissing equals a Diamond Club symbol is for you to watch the live stuff or for you to be an old head. Everybody else, tourists, weak sauce, comers and goers, people who don't know what's going on, people who think they know the real work but have no idea. Good morning. Matt York, YouTube, creator of the #1 piece of content in the history of the modern rogue, now creeping up over 35 million views. The perfect loop that debunks a chintzy piece of garbage. Yeah, the spikes. Here we go. Robert Williams is back. Brian, do I ever miss the hair? All the time. But you know what I really miss? Being 20 pounds lighter. First, I'll do the one, and then I'll bring back the other. That theme song does bring you back, man. As I promised, over the next few days, I'm going to tease for you guys. I'm going to reveal the 2 alternate versions that you never heard. They're very different. You're going to like it. And then I also have the predecessor. You know what? Let's write the agenda here. Let's do this. Let me get all the way to the new fresh page. Where are we at? There we go. Today, we're going to check out a Precursor. We have the time limit today. What do we got? We got... We got 25 minutes, and I do have a hard out today. I got a board meeting. Did you guys know I'm on a board of directors? Isn't that weird? And for an amazing place, too. We'll check out the Precursor. We'll be diligent on time. Your cues. We upgraded layouts. And so let us say hello to everyone. Flycar 100 is here. He gets to flash the Diamond Club. Adam T, 101316. Simple setup, devastating to the brain. I swear I've watched the trick 100 times and I still can't remember the exact solution. That's one of the best parts about it, for sure. Yeah, look at this. Even now, we couldn't remember. All right, we'll talk about the meow meow. It's definitely saying, oh yeah, and when you hear the alternate takes, you'll understand why. Super Blitz is an old head. You get to do it. You get to flash diamonds. BioCal has the French fry nose Brian face. Board of directors. No, this is a really cool board that I'm on. I think it's public knowledge. Here, let me see. look at this. Oh, hey. There it is. The board of directors for Wizard Academy. If you haven't seen Wizard Academy, is the raddest place on the planet. It's a 501c3 business school. If you're an entrepreneur, we're going to teach you a little bit of poetry. If you're a poet, we're going to teach you how to make rent. It's pretty great. I know. Adulting Super Blitz. I can't believe it either. Dude, this is great. All right, awesome. So we get to kind of jump forward. Let me kill X, Y, and Z. And then let me just confirm that we are live. Yes, beautiful. We did it. We did it, my friends. So let me show you the precursor to this. First, I have to mute this. There we go. Okay, so remember, one of the things that I talked about is you want to make it easy for other people to understand your vision of a thing. And the easiest way to do that is to have already created something adjacent to it, something close to it. And in this case, I told you guys that before there was Scam School, I had already experienced the reality of going out, putting myself out to a production company, waving my hands, talking about what I could do when it comes to scams and cons, that kind of stuff. But nothing beats having, and eventually we'll explore that whole epoch. But specifically right here, I want you to see this episode of Brian Brushwood on the Road from the day. This is quite literally possibly the video that made it possible for me to get Scam School. This is all stuff I edited myself. Oh, wait. Look at that. There's even chapters on here. This was all just an attempt for me to glamorize life on the road in 2006. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Brian Brushwood. I tour all over the United States performing America's #1 college magic show. I do stuff like fire reading, escapes, mind reading. This is Nick, my tour manager and constant companion on the road. Every night, Nick and I find ourselves in a new city, new situation, and new people. These are the stories of what happens on the road.
Seen the order?
Yeah, number 37.
Never. I've read it, and it's always one of those. It's like no one's gonna fall for that. Who's gonna fall for? And it didn't take but one person.
I'm telling you, it's never missed. It always, every time I've tried it, it always works. And it's so great.
Take a coin, and I believe it's called lateral force, because I think if you push a coin on your forehead so it sticks, right? If you bang your head on the ground, you would expect if you bang your head on, it'll pop right off, right? But it doesn't. And you'll notice it takes at least 3 hits before it comes off, right? And in fact, now, and it sounds so counterintuitive because it would seem like all you gotta do is smack it hard enough and it'll work. I will buy you all the drinks you want, all right? Water.
Thank you.
I don't want it. You got it. All right, there you go. Go ahead. See if you can knock it off. Keep going. No, you need it. No, you just gotta work it. It's hard. No, you really have to go.
There's nothing on your head.
Okay, all right. So we had a couple of unique things happen last night at the show at Wichita State University, which was a great show, by the way. All right, I need the 2 biggest guys in the entire freaking room to join me up here on stage. This 3-year-old kid just walks right up on stage. And I'm like, well, hey, how's it going? And I don't want to send him back, he's a cute kid. So I tell him, I was like, all right, well, you're going to be the supervisor. How we doing, Peter Pan? You doing all right? No? Okay, there we go. Good job. His name was, and he goes, Peter Pan. And I'm like, Peter Pan, really? He's like, yep, I'm Peter Pan. I'm like, well, that's great. I'm like, how are we doing, Peter Pan? And he just, he shakes his head. And it was a cute bit. And then finally, it's like, all right, now everyone, I'm in the straitjacket. Let's do this finale. Everybody head back to your seat. Here, I can't give you a 5, so give me a foot. All right. And he just stands there, and I'm like, you want to just hang out? He's like, yep. So I'm like, oh, have a seat. So we get ready to do the escape, and I tell the kid, I'm like, all right, this will be interesting. I tell you what, while I'm doing my escape here, my big finale for my show, you just kind of run around in circles around me and go crazy. He's like, okay. Yeah? You set? All right, are you guys ready? Get set! Go! And I look over and I realize that the reason he's not running around like we talked about is because he's actually mocking every move I'm making. You can see when I'm bringing the straitjacket up over my head, he's doing the same thing. When I turn around, the best is when I'm reaching for the crotch strap from between my legs. He turns around, he starts patting his butt right by my side. Guys are awesome. Every time I go there, they are so on top of it, and I just love every second I get.
All right, 20 years later, Brian has editing notes for the whole point of that end thing is, well, anyway.
Spend there.
But it's right. So the puzzle was actually a bonus.
All right, here's the game. This is a little puzzle. I'm not a big fan of puzzles just for puzzles.
There we go. You can actually see right here, this is the digital elf camera that I had to record all of this stuff. Now, here's the crazy part. At the time, I was using these because it was a good enough, close enough artifact. My goal was quite simply on an iPod video, that 320 by 240, that was the display side. And once I realized that you couldn't really tell the difference between content that was full SD, like the news, and content that was shot on this on such a low fidelity modality, then I realized, oh wait, I could look just as legitimate as those things. And my favorite way to show people these videos was not on a desktop where it might look like, again, YouTube was barely even a thing at this point, but it would look just like, oh, that's the new shiny thing, and that's content on the new shiny thing.
But what's great is, like, if you're trying to get free drinks, do a couple of tricks from the book, and then set up.
Boy, now we're all the way back in the weeds. This is very authentically, I think we're at an Applebee's after the show or whatever, and there's one camera right here to do this pickup, and obviously the audio is garbage. But what's amazing to me, and this is part of the reason that I'm so dialed in on this remix culture that we're engaging in, the tools are just going to get better, where this moment is going to eventually live completely up-resed and polished, and it will feel like you're actually there because there's a rich enough data set which is part of why I think it's so important to learn all of these tools, is to be able to tell the stories of what came before in an authentic way.
A puzzle. This is how you actually get your first drink for free. You got four quarters. The rules are you can move one at a time, right? And at the end of each move, the quarter you're touching has to be touching two other quarters, right? So that would be a legal move, and that would be a legal move, and that would be a legal move, but that would be an illegal move. You with me so far? You're not allowed to push other quarters. You can only move one at a time using just your hand, and no stacking, no picking it up and moving in the third dimension. And the puzzle is, within those rules, can you start with...
All right, and then at this point,
Also, I take a crack. Nobody else.
so we just get a lot of frustration, and then we end with that same line. This is the proto version of that
And
line.
I tell you, I'm just so thirsty.
And so then in that case, we held the solution back. But all of that prototyping, all of those Brian Brushwood on the road videos, what they did was they were the most important things, which was doing the reps. Nothing beats doing the reps, do the reps, do the reps. But the thing beyond that was that slices of them could be pulled out and shown to be proof that this guy could probably host a show on a tech network. There we go. This one right here. There we go. All right, let's get to your questions. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't know it, but on the BBC show Red Dwarf, they had done a version of that where you hit the back of the head, which I think is equally good. I like the visual and the deep thump of a noggin knocking on wood. Plus, also, it telegraphs, like, you can't know how hard you're hitting when you're watching somebody else hit the back of their head. But, boy, the whole table knows it when all of the tableware starts banging all around on there. All right, so let's do this as we wrap things up. How much time do we got? I owe a deep fake to Hawk Worley. So let's do that maybe. What? I'll leave that up. By the way, Hawk provided one of my favorite totems of all time, a custom-made coin for Founders Day. And he is, when I use the chat, the one person I'm 100% certain who's going to be reading it at Patreon at modernrogue.com. It's time, guys. Patreon.com/modernrogue. There we go. Go back. Show that on there. Boom, 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 boom. Patreon.com/modernrogue. $30. Get your name in the credits every episode. And this week, it's a good one. Who wants behind the scenes metric talk? And I guess that was the other thing. Mr. Kip Corley. By the way, that is Corley Motors, right? You know I would be on a Corley Motors bike right now if it weren't for my destabilizing inner ear condition. I hope that's right. I keep making that joke. I hope I'm reading the reference correct. All right, well, I'll make sure to do this one for you, Hawk, when we have more time. But what we could do in the meantime that I know you appreciate is seeing the metrics on stuff. We have a very healthy release on this latest one. Ooh la la. Ooh la 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 la. Let's see. Let's go to content, go to videos. We had a lot of good feedback on multiples of the tests. Take a look at this report. We ended up 50-50, neck and neck with Investigation. Did Lucille Ball really hear radio in her tooth? Versus Legend Tested. Can you really hear radio in your tooth? And then the clear loser was, did Lucille Ball really hear a radio in her tooth? And this all tracks. It makes sense because did Lucille Ball really hear radio in her tooth? Number one, it excludes the viewer, and the viewer is the protagonist. Number two, it just vaguely sneers skepticism, and it doesn't convey the fact that we do work in it. So now we have two other ones. We have Investigation. What's going to happen? Well, these guys are going to investigate, that's for sure. And then, did Lucille Ball really hear radio in her tooth? Maybe reading that is the first time that you found that out. In which case, I'm going to learn about this thing, and then they're going to investigate it. And that's exactly what we pay off. It delivers on all of those across the front. Legend tested, can you really hear radio in your tooth? This one's probably more accurate. But in this case, I set the Lucille Ball one overnight because it just happened to be doing well enough and I didn't want to have to babysit it while I was asleep. So I left it on that. I may run it again just with these two. In fact, let's do that. And then let's do new test. Killed that old test. And we'll just try. And then let's try another one. Whoops. There we go. Legend tested. Can you really hear radio in your tooth? Yeah, so this is the Lucille Ball angle is known good. And so we got A, B on that. And then we got kind of a wild card, which I like to have in there. But let's take... Oh, yep, you got me again. There we go. Taylor Van Man 88. You might not remember me, but I hammered 2 nails into one nostril nearly 20 years ago on one of your early live streams. Figure out if you can remember the date, and I will track down that live stream. We will find that moment. Taylor Van Man 88, that is your assignment. And then what you're going to do is you're going to... Here, we'll do this. There we go. All right, that's what you're going to do. You're going to email me, brian@schwood.com or modernroadshow@gmail.com. And you're going to get me as much as you remember of that. And we're going to track down that exact live stream because that's all part of the story too. That's great. Okay, so what behaviors are we seeing? First thing we want to do is check in. Do people dig what we're doing? And this is where your click-through rate happens. And in this case, 2.7, it's not terrible. It's congruent. Now, if it was the key to this is where you can get like tunnel vision and just say, all I want is the biggest number for that. Then you have to do increasingly desperate things. Like if you ever see those, I'm quitting, I'm out, my last videos, and then it turns out I'm quitting being shy and I'm starting to do even more. By the way, Adam T asks, you frustrated many folks with impossible puzzles. What is one puzzle that frustrated you to the point of buying someone a drink? Man, that whole game changes once you realize, like, it's a speculative bet for research purposes. And what's $10 for a drink if it, on the off chance that you might encounter something in the wild that you ain't never seen before? Yeah. Yeah, Kip Corley. Thank you very much, Super Blitz. I'm glad you caught that. All right, so the first thing is, could we increase the impressions rate? Yes. And in fact, probably the next thing I'll do will be to tweak the thumbnails. I'll probably not be changing the titles, but instead do a version of the thumbnail that has Lucille Ball in there as well. And the next thing, views, healthy. We got a spike last night. Engagement. This is the big beast. Look at that. Look at that. Nearly twice as long. And so I have a new way I think about these watch time hours. In general, a lot of these numbers, they all just get big. And they become too big for you to comfortably wrap your mind around. So what I try to do is I try to picture this as a show. I know how long an hour of Brian Brushwood is. It's my stage show. And if there are 1,500 viewer hours, I know that gig. I know, or I could break it into 3 400-person gigs. Wait, no, 3 500-person gigs. So now I can picture those shows and know that the impact of this particular video, what that looks like. And then you can make certain predictions in your mind about what that means in terms of deepening the relationship with the crowd. Because again, everybody likes to blame the algorithm. Knock it off. All the algorithm is a reflection of what the crowd thinks of your stuff. Oh, we're up against it, people. I'm about to have to go. So remember that you're performing in slow motion to the crowd, which means there's going to be times that they're over certain things that you've done, and there'll be other times that they're really thrilled to go back and revisit it. That's what we're doing with Scam School, the only show dedicated to social engineering at the bar and on the street. And then finally, the fact that YouTube prioritizes watch time, viewer minutes, that's the big thing to remember. So this being a longer episode certainly helps. So that is a healthy launch. And part of the reason that this episode of the live stream, I just started straight on that, was because the one we did yesterday, a lot of people clicked on. A lot of people clicked and a lot of people watched it all the way through, or at least skipped around and got enough value of it. So again, watch time hours. That Lucille Ball video was a big gig for 1,500 people for an hour. This is more of a community college gig, which is great because this is where you get authentic feedback and, right? That's where the real ones, that's where you get to lock in all those names. Ah, what happened? There we go. I guess I pulled it aside. But at any rate, okay, we're in the last 1 minute. The algorithm is just a reflection of ourselves reflecting back to ourselves. Could be. Hello, Hannah BLE. Been watching since the Rev 3 days, LOL. I know I'm not the only one. Some of us are in for the long haul. Yeah. We call you guys the Diamond Club. You guys are the folks that join us Tuesday night for Comedy Shenanigans with Justin Robert Young. And on Office Hours, I'll unpack how all of that came to be as well. We'll talk all about Mr. Happy Pants. Mr. Happy Pants exists in a superposition. This is great. Oh, there's controversy on that one. I can't wait to tell you that one as well. Hey, thank you so much, Adam T. Join us tomorrow. I'm getting better and better about letting you guys know in advance what's coming up, but now we're in the last 1 minute, so I'm gonna call it. I gotta switch over to a board meeting. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, gang.